You want to just become a presence. That is why you cannot get to this experience of presence through action. It is not action that leads to the presence. It is presence that leads to presence. Your ability to be in the present is what leads to a deeper experience of presence. So a method or a technique is simply to allow your distracted mind to be there long enough for you to experience the presence. Take any method, watching the breath. There is nothing in watching the breath, but what it's doing is, it is allowing you not to be walking on a beach. That is why technique is so important. It's not that technique is directly contributing to your enlightenment. It's contributing indirectly. That's why all techniques are contradictory. That is why it's very hard to scientifically prove meditation works. Techniques of meditation work. The only way we can prove it is indirectly. You spend some time meditating, you will see the results. Now that is how you know it's working. It is a scientific fact that meditation works, but we have no clue as to how it works. That is why we cannot create a method in the laboratory. We cannot invent techniques of enlightenment from the outside. It always comes from inside. An individual who has experienced that something and he puts it in words. This has been the way. What appears like a contradiction on the outside is perfectly complementary on the inside. And anyways, contradictions are only in actions. In essence, there are no contradictions. So as long as you are stuck to this idea that you are doing something to become enlightened, and you can do something, and it is exactly what you're doing that is leading to enlightenment, you will be stuck to action. And there are many who don't even come this close to performing an action, at least indirectly leading to enlightenment. They perform actions that have nothing to do with meditation and expect to acquire the merit of those actions. Charity. Doing something beneficial for others. This has been a very old practice, a way of acquiring merit. But in actuality, it does not contribute to your deepening of meditation. It is just another action. It satisfies your mind. It satisfies your mind. It satisfies that sensation of having done something good, which is all right, but it should not be confused for the deepening of the experience of the presence. You cannot trick the presence into believing that because you're doing all these other things you regard as important, it should grant you access to the presence. The present moment does not work that way. It's a lot simpler. It just says, whatever you do on the outside, you have to leave it on the outside. Even what you do in meditation, you have to drop it when you are about to experience the presence. Even the same technique that is helping you, you have to use it to still your mind, to calm your mind, to connect with your emotions, reconcile with your emotions. All these things should only help you to come to the door of the present. But the moment you open the door of the present, everything should drop. You should just be there as a no mind, as a no body, without any technique, and dropping all ideas of merit that you have acquired through your actions. There is an interesting story. Bodhidharma, it is said that he introduced Zen Buddhism to China. Although Zen was already there in China in some form, it was Bodhidharma who introduced it in such a way, in a language, in a manner, that it became easier for it to spread. There's a story of Bodhidharma meeting Emperor Wu. It is said that Emperor Wu asks Bodhidharma, look at all my works, look at the number of temples I have built. Look how much I have done for Buddhism. How much merit have I acquired through all these actions? And Bodhidharma says, no merit whatsoever. And Emperor Wu is disappointed. What do you mean? I have done all these things and you say no merit. What is the merit of your teaching? Bodhidharma says, no merit whatsoever. You can imagine their conversation would have ended there. There is no merit for action. Action performed with full awareness relieves you from the burden of holding on to that action. That is the only merit, if there's any merit. To not be burdened by your actions is the greatest merit of an action. So if you can perform an action and leave it completely, if you can do something and you don't have to come back to it to redo it in your mind, now that is an action that is worthy of some merit in the inner world. Compared to an action that clings. Most actions cling. We perform actions unconsciously, without full awareness of why we are performing them, without being in the present moment to watch them. So we have to come back to that action later to try and understand as to why we performed them, what we could have done differently. So action continues on the inside. If you can perform an action on the outside and leave it there, now that is merit. All meditation techniques are actions of merit because you perform them on the outside, but you don't carry them on the inside. Perhaps meditation is the only thing that you don't do on the inside. On the inside, it is just presence. You are not meditating in your dream. What is there to do in your dream? You never sit in meditation in your dream. You are not dreaming about meditation. In fact, when you're not meditating, you're not thinking about it at all. That is how pure meditation is. It is an action that is impossible to cling to you. It touches you, it transforms you in that moment, and then it disappears. It leaves you utterly free to be yourself. This is also why it is difficult to remember to meditate. You need to have some mechanism through which you remind yourself, this is my meditation time. I need to be meditating now. If you don't have that external mechanism, there is no need for your mind to remember meditation. Because unlike all other actions which are incomplete, that are continuing to happen on the inside, which act as a reminder, for meditation, because it's a complete action on the outside, there is no reminding. How is it that we can remember to do something? It's because we are continuing to do that something on the inside, but we know we have not completed it. It has to be done on the outside, then we act on the outside. We drink a cup of coffee on the inside before we drink it on the outside. We take a walk on the inside before we take a walk on the outside. All actions, we perform them first on the inside. Meditation is the only thing you cannot perform on the inside. Hence, there is no trigger for memory. That is why it is challenging to remember. Not because it isn't important, not because it is extraordinarily difficult. It is just too pure to keep on nagging you. Unlike all other habits, all other actions, meditation does not have this nagging habit. That's why even if you have sat in meditation for 10 years, next moment you can drop it without ever having to worry about it. Meditation is the only habit you can drop without any attachment to it. There are no withdrawal symptoms. That is how pure meditation is. Any other habit, because you have picked it up, it takes time to drop it. It takes great effort to drop it. Because all actions have a negative quality to them. They make us dependent on them. They take our autonomy, they take our control. And to regain that control takes some time. That's what happens with every habit. You have given some of the control, and now you're trying to get it back and it's fighting. That is why it is said that it takes 21 days to break a habit. You have to fight with a habit, your own mind, your own body. 21 days you need to fight. Now, how long does it take to break a habit of meditation? Not even 21 seconds. If you don't want to, it will never ask you. Action is not a process of acquiring merit. Action should be performed to transcend action. And if you can figure out what those actions are that you can perform, that can actually help you to get to a place of non-action, you will discover many different meditation techniques. And you will also discover that if you can perform an action with full awareness, by being rooted in the present moment, that also helps you to transcend the action. So you will understand both mindfulness and meditation together if you are able to just see your action not as a merit acquiring process. Karma is real, but the way you get rid of it is not by performing more karma. Karma is simply action and consequences of your action. If you keep on performing more actions to get rid of your karma, scientifically, it doesn't gel. It is like saying, I have done all these things in my unconsciousness. Unconsciousness is my life. Now, I want to perform few more actions, which are still unconscious, but I call them good actions. In my mind, they are good. In my mind, they are meritorious. But how are you getting rid of unconsciousness? By performing more actions in unconsciousness. The only way to get rid of unconsciousness in action is to become conscious, is to become aware. That is why when you are fully aware, when you are fully present, your life has no story. It has no past, it has no future, it has no beginning, no ending. There is just the presence. A presence that does not take birth, that does not die, that does not belong to your body or its sensations at all. It is a totally different transcendental experience. It is because of this presence that you are able to experience this feeling of I am.